welcome to my channel. My name is Shun. If you are new here, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you're a returning channel member or subscriber, welcome back. So in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to add your mighty hoops into your Bai machine. Now I do have the Mirror 15 needle machine, so these measurements will be basically for this machine, but it's pretty much will be the same for the Vision as well. But just wanted to let you know that I will be using the Mirror for this tutorial. So there's two ways that you can add hoops. You can do one automatically, where you kind of just the machine kind of works with you to get the center spot on your hoop, and then your hoop's added. I did try that way, but I didn't like it, and the reason why is because it just gave me a square hoop, and I wanted my hoop to have the curves on it. So I figured out how to add it in manually using the handbook that comes with the machine, and then I also got the measurements from HoopMaster's website. So for the measurements, now this is my 8x13 mighty hoop. And now I can't actually embroider a design that's 8x13. It would have to be smaller than that. The tire hoop is 8x13, okay? But we want the measurements from top to bottom and left to right, the inside measurements for the hoop. And HoopMaster has all of those measurements for all of their hoops for your particular machine. So just go to their website and you'll be able to get those measurements, okay? Now, with that being said, me being me and me being as organized as I try to be, I made a little cheat sheet because I've already added one, which is my 8x13 mighty hoop, because I use that one every day. But I'm like, okay, I need to go ahead and add the rest of them. And so I have all my hoops here except for one. My 7.5 mighty hoop kind of coincides with I believe it's the C21 hoop. So those sizes are pretty much the same. So since I can only add 5, I'm not going to add that one, my 7.5, but I'm going to add the rest of mine. And I've already wrote down my measurements, but I'm going to show you how we get our X center and our Y center. So I'm going to be adding, I've added my 8x13. I'm going to be adding my 11x13, showing you how to do that. And then my 9x3, my 4.25 by 13, and my 5.5. So those are the ones that I'm going to be adding to the machine, because you can only add 5. And then, so once we have our measurements together, and I'll show you how I came up with my measurements. So we're going to get our PX for our center, our PY for our center, and then our X size, our Y size, and then our R, which this one I just kind of did 30 across the board because all of the hoops have a curve to them. So I just did 30 for all of them. So I'm going to, well, first let's hoop this up, and then we'll go through the math of how I got the numbers that I came up with. So the first things first, and we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to get our stabilizer hooped up. Again, this is just cutaway stabilizer. If you want to use fabric or some other type of material, you definitely can. But actually I need this part. So actually I'm just going to use stabilizer because I just have to draw 2 lines on it, and that's it. Now, it's weird doing this without my hooping station, but go ahead and set that down and hope this hoops up tight. Okay, actually hooped up pretty good. So there we go. So we have our stabilizer hooped in here. And so with the mighty hoops, the center points are marked. So right here at the top to the bottom, and then here on the sides, there's these little notches here. So I'm going to use those as my point of reference. All right. And then I'm going to grab a ruler, or you can use measuring tape or whatever you have, because you're going to have to draw 2 lines so we can find our center point. And so and what I'm going to do is use my mat as well so I can make sure that I'm centered where I'm going to draw my line. And so that looks perfect to me. All right, just checking. Yep, that looks good. And then I'm gonna go from left to right, and same thing, I'm gonna kind of move this because I just want to make sure that everything is centered. And this can come down a little bit, and that's good. So then same thing, I'm gonna use my ruler, make sure I have this on the line. And then I'm just going to draw a line straight across. Okay, there we go. And so now I'm just going to draw a circle, or you could put an X there so you'll be able to mark where your center point is. And so I just kind of drew a terrible circle so you could kind of see where that center point is right there. Yeah, my circle's a little bit off. So that's how it should look. You should have a line going from top to bottom, and then you should have another line going from left to right so you can see where your center point is at. And I'm just gonna color that in a little bit darker, so I know exactly when I let my needle down that I need it to go right on that dot there, right there. All right, so that's the easy part. Now that we got that out the way, now with this particular hoop, 11 by 13, the measurements that I got from HoopMaster's website is going to be 274 by 325, and that's in millimeters, okay? And then you want to subtract 30. That's just going to be kind of a safety precaution to make sure that you don't end up right on the edge of your hoop, your foot, your needle hits your hoop, something breaks. You don't want that to happen. So I subtracted 30 from each of those numbers. So from the 274, the measurement I'm going to use is 244. And for the 325, the measurement I'm going to use is 295. Okay, and these are again in millimeters. And so the way you would do it, the X size, which is going from left to right, which is going to basically be how long your hoop is from left to right, which will be our X size. So that is going to be the 295 millimeters. Our Y, which is going to be from top to bottom or vertical, that one is going to be the 244. So again, the 274 minus 30, 244, 325 minus 30, 295. So that's how I'm coming up with those two numbers. I'm just going to give you a close-up so you can kind of maybe screenshot that or see how I have it. Okay. And so now we have that. That's going to come shortly. But first, before we even put in those numbers, we want to get our X center and our Y center. And that is why we drew this line and marked that dot there so we can get our center exact, okay? So I'm gonna move you over here right to the machine so you can see the screen, everything, all the screens that I'm going to, and everything that I'm inputting and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let me move you over here so we can go on to the next step. So first thing we want to do is get our hoop on here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my hoop on. All right. And then now let me bring you closer to the screen. All right. So the first thing we want to do, and my needle's already on needle number 1, but I'm going to show you how to get to the step where you make make sure that you have your origin point. So we're going to go to settings, and actually let me move you a little bit closer. Sorry about that. Okay, so settings, and I'm just moving some of these lights around so you can see the screen better. Okay, so we have settings, and then from there we're going to go to user, and then from there we're going to click on origin, which mine is already on, and then we're going to click auto origin. And for this part, yes, you just want to click OK, and then your machine will start moving. All right, and that's going to get you back to the auto origin so we can get to our center point. All right, so let me kind of zoom you out here. And then, so now I'm going to say hit save on that, and then I'm going to close out. Close out. All right, and then we're going to select needle number 1. So we're going to go to needles, and we're going to select number 1. Okay, why isn't it going to number 1? One sec. Probably because needle number 1 is already selected. Let's see. Okay, yep, because needle number 1 is already selected. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit close. So now what we're going to do, let me move you a little bit this way. We are going to use our arrow keys here. And we're going to use the arrow keys so we can move our needle over to that center point. So I'm just going to hold mine down, and as you can see, the hoop is slowly moving. And yeah, I have not really set up my laser yet. I should probably do that, but I just haven't. Okay, that looks good there. And then now I'm going to move it up. That looks like that can go up some more. And a little bit to the other side. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just hit the trim button. Okay, that is slightly off. So I know I need to move it a little bit to the right. And then I also need to move it down. Oops, actually I moved it up. Okay, so now I'm going to try hitting that trim again. And that. Okay, so I don't need to move over to the right anymore. I just need to move it down. So maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to hit that trim again. And just a tad more, and I will be right on that center line. And I moved the wrong way again. Okay. And again, I'm going to move it just a little bit more. That is that perfect? Yes, that is perfect in the center. I'm just going to trim it one more time just to make sure. Yep, so that hit right in the center. So that is where I want it. So now, move you closer to the machine again and zoom you in so you can kind of see here. So we are going to need, I think I zoomed you in too close. There we go. So we're going to need this PX number and this PY number. These two numbers right there. All right, so I'm going to write those down. So my PX is going to be 82.7. So let me write that down, 82.7. And you can either round down or round up. I'm actually going to round up to 83. And then the other number, the PY, is 6.8. So I'm just writing that down, 6.8, and I'm going to round that up to 7. Okay, so now we have the measurements that we need, and so now we can go ahead and enter our parameters so we can get our hoop in here. All right, so what we're going to do is go to settings, right here where it says parameters, and then you want to go to frame. And this is going to give you all of your parameters. So if you want to make any adjustments to any of your other ones, you can. I wouldn't suggest it, but they're all here. So as you can see, this is my 8 by 13 mighty hoop, the T1. So we're going to go T2 for this hoop here. So our X center, and that is 83. So I'm going to click on that. This little dial pad or keypad is going to pop up. I'm going to put 83 and hit OK. For my Y center, we were at 6.8, so I'm going to go ahead and go with 7 and hit OK. And then here is where that the measurements for the inside of the hoop minus that 30 is going to go. So first we have our X size, which is going to be 295. And then we have our Y, which will then be 244. And then I'm going to hit OK. And then right here at the top up here, you're going to hit save. Just trying to zoom out a little bit. You'll hit save. It'll beep twice. And then we'll close out. Okay, this still has my 8 by 13 mighty hoop. So I'm going to go here under number 3, select my frame. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put my R code. Let's go back. So we're going back to parameters. And that's what I forgot, my R. So as you can see, it was showing as a square. I'm just going to put this at 30, just so I can have the rounded edges. And then we'll close out. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and select our frame, and you can see that it is now going to switch to the change the size hoop. And yep, it made the hoop a little bit bigger, so that's perfect. We have our rounded corners right there, so we are good. And so that is how that you can add them in manually, that way so you can get that rounded corner. I just feel like this way was easier, it's simpler. You're just drawing that line on your stabilizer, and that's it. So now we have our, just doing this part like I was just saying before, just marking your line, getting your center point, and then I just did a trim just so the needle can drop down, so I can make sure that it did in fact hit right on that center point. And then we get the numbers, our PX and PY from the machine, and then we get our Y size and our X size from the Mighty Hoops website, minus 30 for the numbers that you get from there. That way you'll have room in your hoop and you won't have to worry about hitting anything. All right, so I hope this helps you, so you're able to get your hoops added in. Again, I will list the measurements for the hoops that, now again, these are the hoops that I have, but if you have any of these hoops, these will be the exact same measurements that you would use. And as you can see, now I have those two filled in for the 11 by 13. So again, if you want to take a screenshot of that to kind of see how I got my X and my Y numbers and things like that, feel free. There you go. And so it's as simple as that. Again, I just like having the rounded edges, and we can only add 5. So pick your 5 favorite or your most used 5 if you have a ton of them. But I picked the ones that I know I use the most, which is pretty much all of them. But my 7.5, that one again matches the size of one of their hoops that's already in there. So I didn't even bother to do that one, or, you know, I took that one off the list anyways. But I will also have a link in the description box if you would like to get some Mighty Hoops, or if you have a multi-needle machine and don't have Mighty Hoops yet and you've been thinking about getting them or adding to your collection. If you use my code allthingsshun, you will get free shipping on your order. And I will also have a link below for this here amazing Bai Mirror embroidery machine. I am loving this machine, let me tell you. And there will be a coupon code. If you use it with that link, you'll get $100 off of your total purchase of your Bai machine. So definitely take advantage of the Mighty Hoops free shipping, and then the $100 discount if you're looking to get a multi-needle machine or get another multi-needle machine. But I hope this helps. If you do have any questions, please let me know below in the comments, and I will definitely try to help you out as best as I can. I will be posting this information also in my Facebook group, and I'll probably also put it in the Bai embroidery group as well. So if you're in my group or if you're in their group, you'll have this this paper with all the information, because I'm about to finish the rest of them now. But thanks so much for watching today's tutorial. Hopefully you can get your hoops added with no issues and get to stitching out with your Mighty Hoops. But I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.